I already made this video once. Fucking forgot to hit record. I just went through like a whole 2-hour session of me sitting here playing video games to find out I didn't even hit record in the first place. Words cannot genuinely describe how disappointed I am. I'm like a fucking child who's just been told no for the first time. Shit, I am that deer in the goddamn headlights. Sorry Panda wasn't around to stream today. Normally he would have been off work earlier, but I had some shit to get done. I had a giant course thing that I had to do for a chemical thing, and normally that only goes for like 7 hours. It should have been fine, but motherfuckers are out here asking questions that they know damn well was barely any fucking answered. They like them reporters out there in goddamn NBA and shit that get to the fucking press interview of Steph Curry and they're like, Steph, yes, why can Giannis dunk so well? The motherfucker's like 6'8" with a 7'4" wingspan. Why the fuck you think he dunk well? If man was 6 inches shorter, he'd be a fucking janitor, okay? I actually got sent a fucking bunch of Discord messages today of what I think of this Paul brother versus the Tyron Woodley fight. People wanted to give me an analysis. People wanted me to give an analysis of what I think, you know, as a person who's trained that. I think the same as you guys do. I believe the only people that actually genuinely believe that Jake Paul are going to win are the same people that are in his fan base, so like 10, 11-year-olds who have no idea how life works. No fight is ever 100%. That's one of the things that I try to make people understand about fighting in general. No fight is ever 100%. But you know, it's like fighting Mike Tyson in his prime. That's about as 100% as it's gonna fucking get. Tyron Woodley ran the welterweight division. There were people who'd go upweight or downweight just to avoid fighting him. Hang on. More. Yeah, sorry. There were people who literally were like, oh, I'm ready to compete in the welterweight now, boys. I'm geared to fight. Yeah, it's my first contract. And they'll be like, okay, but currently the person running the welterweight division is Tyron Woodley. They'll be like, well, boys, I'm ready to go to middleweight now. I haven't even had my first fight yet, but I think it's time. This man once uppercutted a zebra. We now call that animal a giraffe, okay? He is absolutely insane. That, just like this dude, Jesus Christ. $2,391 hours on record. Pick up some sort of book. Do something more valuable. I'm gonna bother. So yeah, sorry, back to Tyron Woodley. For those of you who don't know, his right hand possesses some of the most devastating power you will ever see. I implore you, if you don't know who he is, look up his highlights. The one big mistake people generally make. The one big mistake people generally make when fighting Tyron Woodley is they circle to his right side. They circle to his right side. You never want to circle to your opponent's strong side. They always circle to the left. Most right-handed people try to circle to their left. Most left-handed people try to circle to their right. Generally, it's better to just completely get rid of that than it is to give it to your opponent. I am a left-handed fighter. I fight what's called southpaw. It means I fight left-hand dominant. I'm also what's called a goofy fighter because I'm naturally right-handed. Now, Jake Paul, he's done better than I thought he would. You know, he fought Ben Askren. He beat Ben Askren. Congratulations. Ben Askren is not a stand-up fighter. If you look up Ben Askren highlights, normally they're highlights of him narrowly avoiding death while being on his feet. I mean, look at the fight that he had with Robbie Lawler, where he nearly got dropped on his head. Look at the fight that he had with Jorge Masvidal, where he got kneed in the clavicle and actually nearly died. Ben Askren is an amazing wrestler. He's an amazing jiu-jitsu fighter. He is not an amazing stand-up fighter. he has minimalistic training for where he is at in the world. You know, and you ask anyone, everyone's done a form of martial art. Everyone's done karate as a kid or taekwondo as a kid. That's the same as Ben Askren. You talk about his fucking wrestling background, he can go on for years. You talk about his stand-up background, he's like, yeah, as a kid I dabbled in some boxing. And past that, I see no opponent that's lined up in front of either Paul brother that I would willingly go out and vocally say is a real test to whether they are a fighter or not. What a lot of people got to understand is being a fighter isn't just going to the gym, competing in the cage, moving on. It's everything. It's the whole fucking umbrella of what it implores to be, you know. It's the diet, the stress, no going out with friends, team planning, solo planning, research on your opponent. It's having a coach who openly fucking hates you and shares no friendship with you so that you understand that he is your coach. He is not your friend. He will not help you get to the top. You will get you to the top. He will aid you along the way. That is it. Where these people put up Instagram posts, you know, these young aspiring fighters, and they're like, yeah, me and my coach went out, we had a great night, we had a fucking fun time of a fucking woo! That's not your coach. That's your friend giving you advice in the ring. You want a coach? My coach fucking hated me. My coach did not speak to me or answer my texts outside of training. If I didn't rock up to training, I didn't get a phone call asking if I was okay. I didn't get one asking if everything was alright. What am I doing? Where am I? He would literally call me and be like, Ben, you're not here in 2 hours, don't fucking bother coming. And that was my thing. That was what got my ass into gear. I had a man that did not give a shit about me. Well, boys, they've all rushed A. That was my thing. That's what I had, which is why I got my ass in gear every day, because anytime I missed, it might be the last fucking day I do. Yeah. I want the best for the fighters involved. But in fighting, it's not the first mistake that punishes you. It's the second one, generally. Panda wants the best for the fighter. Panda wants the best for the fighter, but you've got to balance everything going against someone as skilled as Tyron Woodley. You know, it's not just about, you know, if you can get some footwork in there and if you can bob and sway that one punch. It ain't about that. You have to know how to punish Tyron Woodley. Doing both of those is what would grant you the ability to say you have good footwork. It doesn't matter if you can slip 40, 50 punches. Who cares? It matters if you can tag them back. That is what matters. And Jake Paul doesn't have that. I've watched him fight. He's got good dodging for a man who hasn't done it for so long. What he doesn't have is the capability to punish. And that is where I think it'll come down. Because Tyron will not let you breathe. Tyron is he's good at what's called phone box warfare. Tyron Woodley will punish you on the first mistake. Because he has the knockout power to punish you on the first mistake. You know, it's not just about if Jake Paul can dodge this punch or if Jake Paul got the footwork to get around this. That's a broad spectrum. What people got to understand about fighting, that's all broad spectrum. Footwork, broad spectrum. Countering, broad spectrum. Just footwork alone. You've got to stabilize. You've got to slip. You have to learn the exact length to get back so that when your opponent's punch misses, you have the exact length to pull back in and hit him with enough power that you put him down. But that's Panda's thoughts on what's going to happen with Tyron Woodley versus Jake. You know, no fight is ever 100% either way, but this is like Mike Tyson fighting an infant. Honestly, Jake Paul would have an easier fucking day if he just sack, tap, a snap, and turtle and fucking stood in the ring with it. I think it's going to be a domination. Tyron Woodley's good at what you call phone box warfare. That motherfucker will put pressure on you until you give up. And I genuinely just don't see anything happening good for Jake Paul fighting a man with such incredible power. I'm just so cut I lost all that fucking... had like a fucking 2-hour thing of sitting here playing and now lost that shit. I would have been home early to stream for you guys, but I have a fucking course to do where people just asking dumb motherfucking questions. Had one motherfucker where I would have been home early if not for one dude. This whole time, this dude just kept quiet, did his own thing. He breathed a little bit heavy next to me, which kind of pissed me off a little bit, but Panda can take it, you know. It was a cold ass day in Australia. It was -4 this morning when I left. And we're there, we're doing our coursework and shit. We're talking about the hazards, what you need to look out for, what you don't need to look out for. It was all fine. It was the last topic of the class. And the teacher was like, okay, what hazards do you need to look out for while you're doing your job with chemicals? The basic answers are shit like falling hazards, a split in the box, things not being secured properly. This man puts his hand up and goes, the police. We just had to have a lecture for like an extra 90 fucking minutes on why you shouldn't be doing shit if you think it's wrong. I can't even fucking begin to describe to you how irritating it is when you go from, alright boys, pack up your work, it's time to go home, to, alright boys, get the work booklet out, we're going all the way back through this shit all over a motherfucking again. But that's gonna be the end of it. I'm sorry, I made like a fucking 2-hour video that I could have just sat down, cut and edited over the time I made this fucking video. My dumbass didn't fucking hit record or some shit done fucking happen and the file can't be found. Sorry I don't put out more videos and sorry I couldn't get to stream today. Had to deal with fucking idiots all day. So, thank you for letting me vent. Thanks for watching. I guess.